Okay, folks, all right. We're on live with Mr. Frank from Frank.
Federalist Pens.
There he goes. All right, yeah, this is Larry from Larry's Fountain Pen Review, and hey, I get to speak and hang out with Mr. Frank. That's the guy that has the pen place where if you're interested, you can just get a hold of Frank. What's your email address, Frank?
The customers can reach me at sales@federalistpensonline.com.
Good. So I'm going to be asking Frank some questions so we all can get to know more about Frank. That's the guy with the plan, with the pens and all that good stuff that, if you're a pen enthusiast, you might want to check the man out and buy a few $1,000s worth of pens, right? Yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay. In fact,
Thank you.
this is
Good
where I
talking to you.
got this beautiful pen at. Remember, Frank? I love
Yep.
it. No, for real.
Curious. Good.
I'm not just saying I love it.
I'm glad you love it.
This kind of blew me away because it's even better than I thought. I said,
I can't believe how fast they sold. I got 10. I got a couple of each color to start off with because they were be careful about how many sent out because they didn't get the amount they thought they were going to get. So I got 10, and they're all gone. They tell me they're actually going to get more next week. I'm looking forward to that. I told them to send me more. They owe me some, and I said send me twice as much. So
wow.
Looking forward to that. They went fast.
That's great. Wow.
It's a hit.
Really is great, huh? I got the one with the medium nib, so I may be hitting you back for a fine nib because I get people asking, well, how are their fine nibs? I said, well, I don't know. I just have the medium nib, but it's a platinum, so it's going to be typically the same.
Still very smooth. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's your first question for you for today. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Spin that wheel. Okay. What type of work did you do before pens?
I'm a teacher by profession. I used to be a public school teacher, New Jersey Public Schools. I taught history and English. That's where the name Federalist Pens came from. My love of history. It actually wasn't my first choice. I had thought of a couple of different things. I had thought of colonial pens, and I figured I didn't want the insurance company coming after me. I was thinking about something like, because we're from Philly, in this area, and I was thinking about Ben Franklin. I was thinking about Franklin Pens, and I'm thinking Franklin Christoph, Scott's not going to appreciate that. So I settled on Federalist. I liked the idea. Federalist Pens, it's all about Federalist papers, and I thought I had a good ring to it, especially doing stationery and pens and all. Hamilton fan, and of course, federalism, states' rights, things like that. So all very good.
So next question is going to be, what got you into pens, and how long have you been using pens?
Okay. I have always liked pens. My dad actually is an unofficial collector. He was in the ballpoints and rollerball pens. So I've had a good pen pretty much since I was 8 years old. For my first communion, I got a cross set, the matte gray set. We've always gotten pens for gifts and things like that. I was not in the fountain pens until about 15 years ago, and I'll get into that. So I've basically been in the pens since I was a kid. So I've been collecting, quote, more than 40 years. Fountain pens about 15.
Oh, so you've been in it a good while, yeah.
Yes. We used to get Farney's catalogs in the 80s. I didn't know about the community. I didn't know about pen collecting, that there was such a wide audience out there that people collected. We just kind of collected. We would go to stationery places. There was a stationery store in Philly, Pomerantz, A.A. Pomerantz, which was a known Philadelphia stationery store that closed in the 90s. Of course, due to finance crunches and things like that. But but that had been around. That was a well-known store that we had bought from. We bought from department stores that had stationery stores then. Macy's, Strawbridge's and Clothier in this area. They all had stationery departments. So there was access to fine writing instruments.
Cool. Okay. So how long did it take you? This is an interesting question, I think. How long did it take you to start your own website store and start making the pen show circuit? Because everybody wants to
Okay.
make the circuit, right? Right.
Yes. Yes. Okay. It's as you probably know, it's not as easy as you think, or as web platforms make you think it is. I decided by 2014 that I was going to try retail. I had gotten into fountain pens around 2005, and I'll get into that from teacher friends and all. Once I started teaching in this school, I met people that had pens that I recognized from seeing them in the catalogs, or me having the ballpoint or rollerball version of it. And I'll get into that. And I had joined forums. I had gone, someone had told me about the Philly Pen Show. I went to the Philadelphia Pen Show, which was my first pen show at 2006. By '07, I had discovered forums. I had started running a forum. I was able to go to 3 or 4 pen shows a year, even as a hobbyist, thanks to the area I'm in. I'm in Philly, South Jersey. So that gave me Philly, Baltimore, DC, and even New York. So if I had felt like being able to get up there those years, I had done that. So I had actually had more access than a lot of collectors had. Then I started selling vintage pens on eBay and on forums. And with the fees climbing and the forums, the fees there, and I just by 2014 I had gotten the itch, thinking, I'd seen this, I'd befriended a lot of dealers and all, and thinking, I could actually do this
Yeah.
as a side gig, and that's how it started. It took me by 2015 I was ready to launch it. I had started my LLC and by doing business as Federalist Pens. I had joined a web host, a platform, and it took several months because really it was just me. It still is, basically. I'll get into that. My family helps me a lot.
Right.
I'll get into that. But yeah, it took several months.
Well, were you kind of leery before making that big jump?
Of course, yeah, it was a financial commitment. When I started, I only had 5 brands. My first pen show was actually the DC pen show in 2015. I had just started that summer. I had just launched the website a month prior. I had actually finished it, got to that point. So it was baptism by fire at the big DC show. And I was happy. I'd gone to the DC show for several years as a hobbyist. I learned a lot more, of course, as a dealer, being behind the scenes and seeing a lot more. I learned more. There was more to learn than I had actually realized. But it was good. I started off with 2 tables, 5 brands of pen, paper, and inks. Now I'll be celebrating 5 years this summer. Over 40 brands, and things are going really well.
Wow!
I'm still a one-man store.
The Pen Man, the one-man pen store. Wow, let's hear it for
One-man pen
Frank.
store.
Whoa! All right, my friend. So, hey, who helps you on your
Okay.
website in at the pen shows?
Okay. As I mentioned before, this is kind of a family hobby, a family business. My brother is my right-hand guy. He helps me at the pen shows. My brother Mark.
Right.
Those people have probably seen him and met him. My dad comes. My dad is actually going to be 90 years old this summer, and he's in great health. Thanks.
Wow!
And they see him. He's at pen shows. My wife comes sometimes and helps out. So this is a family business.
Wow! And your dad's 90 years old?
He's going to be 90 years old at the end of June. Yep.
Well, congratulations to your dad. Wow, that's dynamite. 90 years old. And does your dad like fighting pens? Does he love fountain pens?
He likes fountain pens now. Now that he has somebody to teach him, just like I needed. I had tried dabbling with pens early on in those 80s, 90s. I talked about after school and stuff like that. And I didn't really have any good guidance on that. I was buying cheap ones, and I didn't think much of them, unfortunately, at that time, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So here's one for you. Do you plan on extending your line of pen brands?
of course, I have over 20 pen brands right now. I have 24. Like I said, I started with very little. As my business grows, I am adding more and more. I think I've done really well for being a one-man store. Having that many brands and that much inventory. It's nearly 6 figures of inventory that I bring to a pen show. It's amazing. Of course, there's some back here at the warehouse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So is it hard to start adding other lines? Do you have to go through a lot of process to do this?
It is. You have to be recognized by these vendors. They have to see that you are big and that you have other dealers. Some vendors will drop ship for you, which is a big help to a small guy like me. Some of them will do drop shipping, which is a big help. Some will allow you credit based on your other vendor's experience. They check references, of course, which is important and great. Some want to be paid right away. So uh, it's really good. It's a family, and if you guys have been to multiple pen shows, you see that we talk about that all the time. We joke about that. Yes, we are all there to sell you possibly similar items and some unique ones, and I'll get into my unique stuff later. But it is a family thing. It's like a circus. It's a traveling event, and a lot of these dealers are constantly on the road.
Yeah.
So it is like a brotherhood. It is like family.
Yeah.
You're visiting your friends there, and we all hang out. We all eat together,
Yeah.
and the more you hang out at a pen show, the more you see that.
Yeah. The more bonding you're going to do. Yeah.
Yes.
And get to
Mhm.
know each other better. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, do you have plans on having any sales or discounts given to your customers?
Okay. I always have something going on this site. I always have sales going on. I have lots of discount codes. I have discount codes on all my social media. If you check out Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, I have pen forum codes. I have one for FPN. I have one for Fountain Pen Geeks. I used to run a forum called the Fountain Pen Community, which I've now shortened to just FPC as a forum code. I used to run my own forum from
Huh.
2007 to 2015. I figured the Fountain Pen Community would be a sales arm that I would use that to help boost, but
Hmm.
between me paying most of the expenses and all, I just felt it best to close it down. I made it inactive. You actually can find it if you just do a search for the Fountain Pen Community.
Hmm.
I actually stopped paying for a private URL, but you can find it through its host. And there's a lot of information on there. There is a lot of people you recognize from the old forum days. You see a lot more people, of course, now on social media than you do on the forums.
Right. Right.
So they're a big help. I also advertise in a lot of the publications in Pen World. If you look in the latest edition of Pen World, you will see my forum,
I
my
need to get that.
code.
Yeah, I've been saying I'm going to get it, and Jim Hines sent me one of his old ones.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to get it, but I keep forgetting, and then he just brought it back to my attention again. I need to get that magazine. Yeah, it's a lot of information in there.
I have an ad in Pen World. I have an ad in the Pennant. I belong to PCA, of course. I have a ad in Paul Arano's Fountain Pen Journal. Like I said, I started with vintage. I still do vintage, not as much as I used to, but honestly, this quarantine has allowed me to get back to my vintage because I had put that off for a long time. It was a lot to get involved with the new pens, and I really had put vintage on the back burner. Now I'm actually finding myself doing a lot of repairs and getting ready to post that stuff soon and go back to that with pen shows too.
Wow. Okay, my friend. So listen, what uh, got you started into fountain pens? That's a big one. What got
Okay,
you,
it is a
Frank,
big one.
started?
It is a big one. Like I said, I had collected a good, 20, 30 years before even thinking about I was going to stay with fountain pens. I said I had gotten ads from magazines, and also I'm working for this school, and a new principal comes in, and I go in the office to meet him, which is fine. It's typical because they want to get to know you and all that. And he's writing with an all-star. He's writing with a pass. He's writing with the steel gray, the bluish light blue all-star. This is 2005. I said, all-star fountain pen. He goes, hey, you know what this is? I said, oh yeah. I said, I got the rollable. He goes, you do? He goes, well, you like fountain pens? I'm like, yeah. He was like, well, here, try it. Take it home. Try it out. And before you know it, I'm showing him my stuff. He's showing it me. He's letting me take home all these pens. I'm getting used to writing with good fountain pens, and I'm
Right.
realizing, hey, these things are actually really nice. And he's telling me about the forums. He's telling me about the Philly Pen Show. He's actually not as much into it. He's retired now. He's older, but I still talk to him once in a while. He knows about my success and all, and he was a big influence. And then I started going to the Philly Pen Show and meeting more people. And then, like I said, that led to me getting the bite for selling vintage. I got into that. I belong to the Philly Pen Club. I used to man their table there. If you volunteered and ran the table, you could sell your vintage there. And that's how I started.
Okay.
And by 2014, like I said, I was like, I think I want to try retail.
And here you are.
And here we are. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, when the customer orders a pen, Frank, but it's not in stock or
Okay.
you don't have it, can you
Right.
order the pen for the customer? And about how long does it take for you to get the pen in and then ship it to the customer? I know because you
Okay.
did that with me. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, you know this yourself.
yeah,
I did do
yeah,
this with you. You
yeah.
ordered the Ani Verde Sequoia in the turquoise.
Which I'm excited. I just can't wait to get it. Yeah,
Get it? Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite of all pens. Yeah, and it came in turquoise. I saw that. Well,
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
have it.
I sent that off to you early in the week. You should have it soon. And so yeah, Yaffa was actually on limited sales, so limited use because of California and all and the lockdown. So they were a big help with that. Yes, the answer is yes. If something can't be drop shipped, which I do count on sometimes, I will order it. I'll custom order it. It'll come in. I will keep in contact by email, as you know,
Yeah,
let the
yeah.
company know what's going on. If there is an issue, I will offer substitutions. I will refund them. Uh, there's always a way to deal with it. Hopefully, I will keep that customer, and I do all I can to keep them happy.
So what I want to add to that is, folks, when uh, after I met and been dealing with Frank, well, I know Frank's a upright guy. He's cool. He's great. He takes care of business. He's a fountain pen guy, and he'll do anything he can to help you, to get what you want. So when I saw this pen, okay, the Giant Sequoia, one of my all-time favorites. Yes, I collect them. And I saw the turquoise right then immediately. It was a must-have. So I get in touch with Frank. I'm going to order it. Frank says, Larry, I don't have that right, but I can get it, on drop. And of course, the virus is going around. So you have to be willing to work with the seller. And I was willing to work with Frank because Frank is going to be, busting his tail to get this pin for me. So there's going to be a little wait time, not as long as you think, but have some patience. It's going to get here. We're in a crisis right now. You're not going to have it like in 3 days. That's not going to happen, but it's going to get to you. So yeah, I was willing to wait. Frank did his part. So give the man a chance. He'll get your pin to you, right?
Yes, thank you. You
Yep,
know it.
yep, yep. So I'm willing to do that. So okay, now, do you plan on? I may have said that. Do you plan on increasing your brands of inks? That was a big one. I got a question asked about that to ask you.
Oh, definitely. When I first started, I only had, like a handful, and I'm up to 14 ink brands now. So yeah, like I said, I'm always looking out for the latest thing, the latest products, looking to grow. Uh, Most people may not know this. I did go over this with you. I am Robert Oster's first U.S. dealer, and that is becoming, more and more widely known. I actually launched Robert Oster in the U.S. at the 2016 Washington, D.C. Pen Show. It was my 1 year anniversary. It was his launch, basically. He had started making inks that year. So I launched his products that summer in D.C. with his original 36 colors. Now, 4 years later for him, he's got well over 100 different colors. He's got dozens and dozens of dealers. We celebrate every year the Frankly Blue. I am Frank of Frankly Blue, Frankly Scarlet, Frankly Green. This was the first one, Frankly Blue. This is the 1 year anniversary that I launched in 2017.
Well, you still
We
have
then,
any more of the bottles left? I've never seen that one yet. Do you have any more?
no, I will send you samples of all my Franklys. Yeah, if you
Well,
never knew.
no, I'm going to buy a bottle of that right there.
Okay.
You have
Okay.
really? Well, okay, I was looking at that. I'm saying, am I seeing things? So okay, so yeah, I have to have a bottle of it just off the bat. Yes, yeah, yeah. That's a must. I am going to buy a bottle of that. I am going to review it. I'll be darned. So it
Excellent.
is for real. Okay, folks. So Frankie here is the one that started all off, right? Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You were the
Yes.
first guy, boom, right?
Yep. Yep.
I'll be darned.
In fact, many of you do know the well-appointed desk, Anna
Yeah,
Reiner.
yeah,
She bought the first bottle off me. She stood there because she was there, helping another dealer out. She was there waiting for me to unpack my Oster stuff. She bought Aqua. She did the first review, and then she later did Fire and Ice, of course, and it took off from there.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, how did this marriage between you and Ulster come to be?
We just friended each other on Facebook and social media. I was always looking out for the latest and greatest products. I've always loved independent makers, pen makers, and I always am willing to give someone a chance. I've helped launch a lot of different things. I was actually Magna Carta's first U.S. dealer as well.
Yeah, I got that one. Yeah.
Magna Carta, I was the first U.S. dealer. I am the only U.S. dealer right now for Constellation's 88 pens.
Okay.
This is their Lyra pen. This is their celluloid pen, piston fill celluloid. I also finally have my own custom nibs, which I'm really, really proud of.
Really?
I have my own Federalist Pens nibs that have my logo on them. I can't wait to. I actually plan to launch these at the Atlanta Pen Show before that got canceled due to the virus and all. But I have them. I've actually gotten them stubbed out. The medium and broad nibs I had stubbed out by Nib Grinder, Mark Backus.
Yeah.
What is Nib Grinder? Yeah, he's a great guy, great job.
Great guy. Yeah.
The extra fine and fine nibs, I'm still debating. I think I'm just going to get them done architect style. I'm debating on how to best do them. So I'm leaning towards architect because I keep hearing how fine point nibs are best with architect stubs.
Wow. That is interesting. You got
to
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Wow.
So
you're
Scarlet.
Yeah.
Frankly Green, and last year. Yeah. So each year we celebrate with a Frankly. And then you might have seen the artwork too. Hang on a second. CW Customs, Craig Williams.
Okay.
Line too. I commissioned him to do things for me. He did Frankly.
Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that
Frankly Blue? That's
look at that is
blue.
Gorgeous. Just knockout gorgeous. Yeah.
That's Frankly Blue. The following year he did Frankly Scarlet because I was going with the Wind motif there, and I told him I was thinking about that, and he got a couple of the images, and he did Scarlet O'Hara.
I'll be darned.
Scarlet.
Look at that. Look at that. That
he deals. He's an artist, so he does he deals with water a little bit to shade it. That's the color on the actual ink blotter pad. And then last year he fooled me because I told him that I was doing a green, and I was thinking about something Frankenstein, and he's like, "I got you, man." So he took a picture of me online. And made Frank Inkstein. So.
I like that. That is definitely cold-blooded. Look at that. That's awesome.
First time there's been hair on my head in about 30 years.
Like you, Frank. Yeah. Looks just like another color, but hey, that looks twin brother. All right, Frank is fired up. Yes. That's a lot of information I didn't even know about you, man. So, wow. Okay, so here's a hard one because I can never answer this question. Do you have a favorite fountain pen and a favorite color of ink, even your favorite brand that you like using? And that's always hard for me to answer because I love all my pens.
No, it's going to be hard too as a dealer to get into that.
I just say all of them
my line always used to be whatever is in my pocket is my favorite pen of that day.
There you go. Yes. Yeah. I have been asked over and over.
Whatever pen I'm using is my favorite one.
Yeah, and
of course I have some I lean towards, obviously.
Which is your favorite pen? Yeah. Which is your favorite pen? And then they ask me, what's your favorite ink color? Blue is my favorite. I tell you that, blue. Okay, then all greens, browns, reds, blues.
I like dark colors. Yes, purples, browns, reds, maroons. Yeah, I like dark colors.
Yeah, and so that's how I answer it. I do like the KWZ Hawaii blue. That's a monster, beautiful blue.
Okay.
So, the favorite brand. Do you have a favorite brand? I say I like them all. So
I do. For the most part, I do too. Yes.
Now Robert Orser has a real beautiful Antica. That gold
Antica.
Yeah, I think I've done a review on that. That was really beautiful ink.
His browns, his golds. Yeah.
I've got Southern Pop. I've got 3 or 4 or 5 up there. Yeah, they're nice inks and they're affordable inks.
They are
nice size bottle.
Considering considering they're from Australia, Still, he doesn't have a U.S. distributor. He still prefers to deal direct. I've been dealing with him all along because, like I said, when he first started, it was just him. He and I, like I said, befriended each other. I still deal with him direct. I know he's got a couple of other people on his team that helps out and all. But I was proud to be the first one in the U.S. that represented the brand. It's been really good. I'm glad for him. He's really grown tremendously.
Okay, guys. So, do you plan on making any of the pen shows because of of the virus that's going around today? And are a lot of the pen shows been canceled?
Yes, yes, and yes. I normally do 10 to 12 pen shows a year. Most of these coast ones, I do some in the Central too. We did St. Louis. We do Columbus. I did San Fran a couple years ago. I actually, if they haven't, I'll actually go back again this year. Yes, there have been several shows. Canceled Atlanta, of course. Raleigh and Chicago have both been moved. Raleigh will be in August.
Okay.
At this point, Chicago will be in September. I'm still hopeful for Miami. I do go to Miami. That's one of my furthest shows south. That is scheduled for mid-July. DC, of course, we're still hoping for. That'll be a big one, of course. So yeah, I'm still going to go to pen shows. That's
Do you ever go to the Dallas Pen Show? And if not, why not?
mainly because Dallas usually coincides with Boston, and Boston's a little closer for me.
Okay.
It's Northeast. I'm usually the only retailer there, or one of two or three. So that's a big help. This year, actually, the Boston show will coincide with Chicago. It's going to be the same weekend. So I will be going to Boston. And that should be very well. I'm sure by August, September, this will be mostly behind us and we will have shows.
Off the same
Fingers crossed. We're hoping.
Have you ever met Nathan from Noodler's Pens?
I have.
Really?
At the Boston show. Yes. Nathan goes to the Boston show. That's his own show.
Yeah, what kind of guy is he? I've never met him or anything, but I do like Noodler's Inks a lot, and he seems like a nice guy. I've seen him interviewed
He
once.
is a great guy. His love of history and mine. We have a lot to talk about. Yeah, he's a well-read, interesting guy.
Yeah, so that's good.
He's a real Renaissance man. He's got a lot to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
So okay, let's see. So the show. So okay, here's one for you. Growing up, were you able to use a fountain pen? If so, what grade did you start, and where did you learn cursive writing, or just regular handwriting, if not just
handwriting? Yes. Well, I learned cursive relatively young. I did go to a parochial school, Catholic school, and I did learn that. My handwriting wasn't really good. I started life as a lefty, and of course, this is in the 70s, and the nuns weren't having that, so they forced me to be right-handed. They kind of messed up with my handwriting because they tried to change my hand. Yes, they did. They were still doing that then. They were still giving you the board, quote, of education. At that time, they were hitting your hand, slapping your hand.
Yeah.
You're right-handed. So that messed up my handwriting. You're looking at the guy that got bad grades at handwriting, but still managed to learn how to write.
Yeah.
I wrote with pens. I wrote with pencils. Didn't really get into fountain pens. They didn't have it. Like I said, I tried a little bit in college. Kind of got turned off by them. And like I said, with good guidance as an adult, like I mentioned about 15 years ago, around 2005, with some good guidance, I got hooked real fast. And but I've always liked good pens, like I mentioned.
When I first even knew about fountain pens or used them was in the 5th grade, and I remember Miss Thompson, my teacher, great teacher, she told us about fountain pens. We didn't know what they were, and then we could use them at least for a little while. So went home, told my mom, "Can you get me a fountain pen?" I didn't know nothing about fountain pens, and got I believe it was a Schaefer cartridge student pen. Yeah, so that was good. Yeah, and my ink was like peacock blue. I'll never forget it. Love that color of ink. Yeah, so got to use those for a while. So, my friend, let me ask you some more questions that are off now.
Sure.
What about this watch party? let's start a watch party, or how do we go by doing it so
I
we
think
can
it's a
get one?
great idea. We're doing this. We can do it via Zoom. We can do it here. We can do it uh, house party, I think it's called. We can do Skype, FaceTime. You know, there's so many different ways to do it. It's good. Zoom is good as long as you secure your Zoom room, which is real important. It'll be fine. Uh, I actually have a personal VPN. I believe in this because it's real important, especially when you're at trade shows, when you're at pen shows. I do my transactions. I don't rely on hotels' Wi-Fi. I use my own. I have a VPN. Use my personal internet, and all my transactions are secure. And we all have to figure out new ways now. I'm, working on new ways now where I'm not going to really, I'm have to figure out ways to sign for people because I really don't want them using my devices. Nothing personal, but that's probably going to be the best way to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah,
I've got to figure out new ways to sign for you, and maybe we'll get involved more with direct pay. I use PayPal. You could PayPal me directly.
yeah.
I use Venmo. Uh, I have a contactless reader, a chip reader. You can use my chip reader, and I will just X for you instead of you signing it, and we'll do it that way until we get past this. We're going to mask up and manage. We'll get through it. We just all need to be a little patient and stay safe and practice.
There's a question I need to ask you. A while back, you mentioned the Platinum was having a watch party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I
Platinum had a
am
Zoom
seven.
party last weekend. In fact, they're going to have another one next weekend,
Well, we
and
can
they
go.
plan
It
to.
was me and 5 or 6 other people that were asking me about it because they saw this when I
Uh-huh.
was mentioning it, but we couldn't get on using the code or nothing.
No, it is case sensitive. You got to make sure you use either lowercase or uppercase. I know that. We can have one. I have my own Zoom account. We can host a party through Zoom. That would be good.
We
We could
do
do that.
need to do you and I. Yes, yes. So let's
We could
talk
work.
about that,
We
and
can
then you
coordinate on that.
talk with
Yes.
Mr. Announcer and get that set up
Yeah.
because
We
we
will get.
need to have our own watch party and get that
We will.
bang started. Yes,
We
yes.
will work on that.
Good
Yes,
time,
we
yeah.
can.
Because
We
people
can.
were asking me, said, "Why don't you guys have your own watch party?" I said, "Well, first of all, I just heard about it. Second of all, yeah, Frank and I have spoken briefly about it, but yeah, we're going to get it done. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you have them on Facebook or where do you have a watch
Yeah.
party?"
You can have them. Well, Zoom is direct, and House Party, I believe it's called, is their own, and Zoom. There's FaceTime. Uh, there's also Facebook Live. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of different ones you can work
So
with.
people, once you and I
Hmm.
plan the watch party and get it all set up, we just send like put it on Facebook, a watch party with so and so and so and so at a certain day and time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we will coordinate that. We'll figure out a date and time to do it. And we'll plan it from there. It'll
And so
be
when
real
we
good.
do that, so will they need to have a code, or they just how does that work even?
Yeah, they get an invite. They'll have a code. They'll have just like you and I just did here.
Yeah.
Same thing. There'll be a code that to log in with, password, and then you just use it, and then you get on board. Yeah,
So
same way.
in other words, you have to have an invite. So people see this
Yeah,
watch party we're having on Facebook and say, "I'm going
yeah,
to the watch party," but they can't get in unless they have a code.
right. They have to be invited in. You send them the code. Same way. Yes.
So yeah, so I think you and I will later start working on this. I think it's going to be a big thing, at least for me. It is getting a watch party. How
Sure.
cool is that? Awesome.
Sure. That would
And
be
then
great.
I'll start making videos and letting people know that we're going to have a watch party on certain day or whatever time. But look on face if we're on Facebook, however we're going to do it to get people aware of we're having one. Come on.
Right. Right.
So
Good.
so this is a dumb question.
Not at
Uh,
all.
what?
Never dumb.
So when you're on this watch party, I know you're going to talk about pens, but what do y'all talk about? Anything certain things?
It was like a gathering. It was like a pen shows after dark. If people know that handle, they know what we're talking about. You have events afterward. You meet at the bar. You meet in meeting rooms. You have your pen show. You have your pen parties. it was a lot like that. It was a little bit about pens. It was a little bit about just about what you're doing during the quarantine. You know how you're handling it, what you're
Yeah.
doing. It was a kind of like a mixer party. Everybody had their favorite beverage, whatever it might be.
Huh.
And it was that was actually a lot of fun. They plan to do it again. They plan to host one every 2 weeks.
I was invited with some friends, a pen pal from India, and there's a whole bunch of people there from India, and
Yes,
we were talking about pens and stuff, and there was one lady that I was talking about the virus because I'm very dedicated on trying to do all I can to help others
I
get
know your
the
hand
virus.
sanitizer sounds awesome.
Yeah,
You know, why don't you send me a bottle?
yeah, I will, I will.
Send me a bottle.
And so I was talking about this, and a lady, she was nice. She said, "Well, we're here to talk about fountain pens, So, okay. I said, "Well, okay, we're here to talk about fountain pens, but don't forget the virus is alive now." So, uh, that was kind of cut short on that. Now, but
Right?
my buddy that invited me, he was cool with that, talking about the virus. And they were asking questions, from India, how is the virus doing here in the States? And I was letting them know and telling them, I'm making hand sanitizers and stuff. And we go out and we buy extra paper, whatever. If somebody needs any, we don't sell it. I just give it to them. That's all we do. We don't, nothing.
Excellent.
So, find the
Brilliant.
aloe vera and the alcohol. Wow, that's a
Uh-huh.
pain. And then, getting the bottles and then it's an ordeal to get it done. It's just not here, put this together and get all. So, but yeah, uh, we need to do a watch party.
Sounds good.
So
We'll
when's your
plan that.
next show coming up? Your
We'll plan
next
that.
pen show?
My next pen show is hopefully Miami in mid-July. We're hopeful for that. That's about 10 weeks away. It's a good possibility that most states will be open to some degree. They'll be in some phase as the CDC and the government is talking about. Hopefully, most of them will be in phase one or better. Well, actually, we can't have a show if they're only in phase one. I think they need to be in like phase three at that point. So hopefully, Florida will be, and most of the states you drive down to because like I said, I'm 1,200 miles away from there. Just really, we're in Philly, and hopefully all the states on the coast will be in some kind of phase so we can drive through it safely
Yeah.
And we can get down to Florida.
So does your brother go with you?
Yes, he does. He's a big help. He's a tremendous help.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So you have a big.
He's my unofficial partner.
So who helps do all the packing at the house to get all these pens ready to go in boxes and cases and
I do most of the preparing. He helps me sometimes. He helps me, of course, load and unload and set up obviously the show. And I do most of the work otherwise. My wife helps me out too. And comes to shipping things, it's all me. Everything is me. I answer the phone. I manage the site. I pack. I get the things to the post office. It's a one-man pen store.
so okay, so how is business right now? Is it up, down, what for you?
It's stable. The store is actually doing well. Obviously, I'm missing pen shows. Any dealer will tell you most of their business comes from pen shows. That's why most of us are eager for a pen show and to get to one. It really is more than half of our business.
Yeah.
Most dealers will tell you that. We count on them and can't wait to get back to them. Of course, I'm not buying as much as I would normally do, so that's
Right.
kind of offsetting to a certain degree. That's helping. Looking forward to hopefully having DC, like we mentioned. I will be okay. I hope most of my fellow pen dealers are as well. We're hanging in. Being a small guy, a one-man shop,
Right.
advantages in this situation. Fortunate for me. I hope most other dealers can say that too.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I can remember when Jim Hines started his first pen show. Yeah, it's tough to get started, you know.
Uh-huh.
And after a while, you build and build, but you got to keep going to them shows. And people think it's a lot of fun, and it is, but it's a lot of work.
It is. It is a lot of work.
A lot of
We look forward to it. It's like you said. It's a brotherhood. We look forward to it. We hang out. We have a lot of fun. We work hard. We play hard.
Yeah.
It really is a lot of fun.
So, but I tell people also, don't forget, I said, all these vendors out there that are selling, they have a lot of overhead because, it costs to rent rooms, meals, to rent
Definitely,
the space
definitely,
out there, and then, to do all the
definitely,
physical labor to get it ready to the show and then to pack up and leave. That's a lot of work.
definitely. I do 4 tables. I bring a lot of my product. I don't really want to have more than 4 tables. It starts really getting unmanageable after that. I'm pretty much the biggest dealer at most pen shows now. Some distributors will do multiple tables like I do. But the last couple years, I've pretty much been the biggest dealer. I represent over 40 brands now. Like I said, I have over 20 pen brands, about 15 ink brands, 8 paper brands, and yes, I'm always looking to grow. Maybe eventually I will have to go to 5 tables, but I'm really trying to put that off as much as possible. I really do pick and choose what products and brands I'm going to bring. I do rely on people telling me to a certain extent what to bring and all. I ask that. I do my newsletter, and yeah,
Here's one for you. Okay, when a brand new pen is coming out and the
right,
public doesn't know it yet, they doesn't know it. Only let's just pick on let's just say Pilot. Pilot
okay,
has a brand new pen coming out, but nobody knows it. Uh,
right,
how does it get to whoever seller to start
okay.
showing it?
Well, sure, sure. The vendors send all of us a flash. They'll tell us when it's coming out, how much it costs, of course, and when you can actually announce it because you're actually not allowed to release it before. And then they'll tell you you can take pre-orders, when you're allowed to do that,
Right.
whether or not you discount it. Uh, there was some talk about that with the Curitis, actually. Some dealers thought they could discount it. Platinum never wanted it discounted, but we do throw in the converter with that deal, and that's good. It's still $80, but literally it's half the price of the nearest competitor, which we know that brand. And of course, it's a gold nib for that
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the platinum steel nib is good, as you know. You reviewed it,
The platinum
It's basically
nibs
a
are
tried
great.
and true
I have a
nib.
lot of platinums. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I have a
it's
lot
the
of platinums.
Procyon. Yeah,
Great
it's
pens.
the Procyon nib. It's a tried and true nib from them. It's the Procyon nib. They curve it a little further to accommodate that smaller nib unit, but it's a tried and true nib unit from them.
Yeah.
And it's really is a great pen.
It is a super pen, if you can see that. Yep. I think I've had this pen inked up. Let's see. Whenever you send it, I run out of ink and I'm going to rotate it. I said, no, I'm going to try this other ink in it. And then I cleaned it out. I said, no, I'm going to put it away and get another. Now I keep bringing it out and bringing it out and
Yeah,
bringing it out. So yeah, it's a great pen.
I did send you some samples as you requested, along with the Monteverdi turquoise. I also sent you something that you asked you wanted to review. I don't know if you wanted to announce that yet,
No,
but I
I'm
did.
going to wait. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
sent that off to you as well. We'll talk about that too, because there's a lot of heritage in that where I live here. The
Okay.
brand existed here.
Yeah.
I may have actually tipped it off already, but we'll get into that.
Back up to this platinum, what people were saying they don't like is that little under where you hold the pen right here, where that little groove thing sticks out from under the nib.
Yes,
Yeah, but it
yes.
doesn't bother me. I've
No,
never
not
had
at
a
all.
problem. Not.
It's actually really comfortable grip. You don't even have to take off the clip. It's
Yeah,
a totally different feel than the competitor.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they do give you a nib tool. They give you
yeah.
a little thingamajig there, which actually works like a
Right.
wrench, and you can take the clip off.
Yeah,
You can
it
do
don't
that if you
need to.
want
For
to.
me, no
Yeah,
need to. Nah, it's fine just to go. I mean, it's an awesome fountain pen. Really,
yeah,
I'm not just
yeah.
saying that because you're on. It's really an awesome fountain pen. I was
It
totally
is.
blown away. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. I heard some negatives about it. They didn't like this. They didn't like that. Okay, but I do like the competitors' pens a lot. So I said, if it's even close to that, I'm going to love it. And it was. I do like the girthiness of the pen. Great. I love the color. I love the feel. I love the way it writes. A
Mhm.
smooth, wet nib. It does everything I want a pen to do. So there.
Right.
Yeah. So Well,
Very
okay,
good.
my friends, I think that's going to wrap this up. Now, what we're going to be doing next, well, Mr. Announcer, not me, don't you have to, what, get it downloaded on
Yeah,
YouTube?
I need to transfer it to my computer and do the video editing.
So you can come out on YouTube. Yes, yes. So we'll be doing some more chatting behind
Looking
the
forward.
lines, okay?
We sure will.
So,
will.
you know, God bless and good luck, and I'm going to send you some sanitizers as well. How many do you need?
Send me a bottle or two. It's great. Yeah.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, if I can help you with anything, give me a holler. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks,
All
Larry.
right.
Thanks for having
Hey, it's been a blast, and we got to set up that watch party. You got it.
We will.
Take care, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Peace out.
Okay.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye. Bye.
Take care.